The unexpected fight between Joseph Parker and Martin Bakole just took place, and these are the reactions from the boxing community.
Yeah, it's what we kind of expected. Bakole hadn't been training, straight off a plane all day, but he did what he needed to do.
You say that, but I heard a lot of people online as well, fans saying, I think...
In terms of behind the scenes in boxing, you know what it is, but good, well done, he did it. Because Bakole could have caused upset, but he did what he had to do and he didn't get it.
You were ready to step in, yeah?
Yeah, we already agreed. It was all done, but obviously Bakole and Parker's a great fight, so that's the one that they decided to go with, or Parker's team decided to go with.
Great punch. Bakole had his hands down, and he just took a last-minute fight. I wouldn't have took a last-minute fight like that. I would have been prepared for this fight.
Martin Bakole obviously coming in on very short notice. Did you expect that tonight, or did you expect Bakole to go longer?
I didn't expect that. It was a one punch. The corner stopped the fight. I know Bakole didn't want that fight stopped.
Joseph Parker now, we don't know if he's going to have that fight with Daniel Dubois, if Dubois goes into an Usyk rematch next. What do you want to see?
I want to see that fight. I think it's going to be a great fight.
Parker Dubois?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great fight.
Don't rush the ring, don't rush the ring.
Oh, goes Bakole!
Yeah.
Woo!
Whoa.
The whole arena shook when he went down. It's over. This fight's over. It was one shot, one right hand. I didn't like the spots where Parker was trading up because, and all of a sudden, maybe Parker felt the power and the strength and thought, you know what, I can't just let this guy keep walking me down. I've got to hold my feet here.
He's just edging it because look at Parker today. He's gone in there and knocked out Bakole. And if it gets tough, I want to see. I've seen it from Dubois. He's managed to come through against Baby Miller and Hergovich. And with Parker, he's gone in there and just blasted out Bakole. So it would have been nice to see a bit more, to see what his engine's like in the later rounds and how much grit he's got. But he went in there and done what we all want as heavyweights, and he knocked him out. So for me, from what I've seen, I'm going to go with Dubois due to the fact I've seen a little bit more grit and he's had to dig a little bit deeper. And why I say that is because I think the fight's going to be a 50-50 fight between the two.
What did you think of Parker's win?
Listen, Parker prepare for this fight, yeah? Bakole, I think no. Okay.
You should have. One round, two? Yeah. I had Bakole gonna win by knockout.
You did say that last time.
Yeah, but you know what? Someone had to go on somebody's side in the sand. So.
I mean, Lawrence Bakole just said to me, we should have actually expected that because he's not been training Martin Bakole. Is that fair or?
Listen, he came, he got paid. He made more money than anybody else in less than 4 minutes.
It's quite a flex, to be fair.
Quite a flex. So he got paid, he came, and I'm happy for him, he got paid. You understand? If the fight went on longer, it would have been more harder for him. But you know what? Good shout out to his corner, just put him out.
Just lastly, I don't know what's going to go on with this Usyk Dubois rematch situation, where that leaves Joseph Parker. Would you do a trilogy with Joseph Parker?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, listen, Martin got offered the fight at 7 o'clock Thursday night, and it accepted the fight. It was life-changing money for him, and they accepted the fight, even though we hadn't sparred since August. But we can't use that as an excuse. When you say yes, you know the risks, and Martin was in that fight until I get clipped with it, and I wasn't happy with the action. When he went down, well, basically when he got off from the knockdown, and I stopped the fight, and I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah. Joseph Parker wiped out boxers Martin Bakole in 2 rounds. You must be happy.
Done it in style, absolute style.
Did you expect that to happen?
I did fancy him to win. I said, again, I was asked what I felt.
No, but in 2 rounds.
No, but I felt he would stop him, and I felt it'd be I don't know. Look, Martin Bakole, I don't want to be disrespectful. Everyone bangs on about he's this monster, and I've said before the fight, I haven't seen that yet in a fight. And he's a big man, and you could see how dangerous he is. He's a big punch, but Joe just kept his composure and went about his business the right way. and, done what he had to do.
Leading up to the fight, reactions from the boxing world were a mixture of intrigue and skepticism. The situation was unique in the sense that Bakole wasn't the original opponent, and his preparation had been far from ideal. He had not been in a full training camp, and many questioned whether he would be in the condition necessary to face a fighter of Parker's caliber. From the outset, Joseph Parker himself showed remarkable composure in the face of the unexpected change. When the official announcement was made that Bakole would replace Dubois, Parker responded with confidence, making it clear that he was ready for any challenge.
Spencer, we just seen the ring have announced it's Joseph Parker there. That Joseph Parker will face Martin Bakole.
Joe, come in. Just been announced. You're fighting Martin Bakole.
Oh, let's go!
So we're not scared. Everybody, we're not scared, are you, Joe?
Parker's reaction to the situation, while confident, also displayed a sense of understanding about the nature of the sport. He acknowledged Bakole's reputation as a dangerous, hard-hitting fighter, someone who had avoided traditional matchups with top contenders. Yet, Parker seemed genuinely excited to test himself against him, viewing the fight as an opportunity rather than a setback. On the topic of Dubois' withdrawal, Parker took a pragmatic approach, not dwelling on the situation.
Joe, just very quickly, just your reaction to the Bakole fight and your reaction to that.
Martin Bakole, he's a beast of a fighter, and I'm looking forward to challenging myself against Martin Bakole, who's been avoided, and let's get it on.
What's your reaction been to obviously the Daniel Dubois situation? How have you found that dealing with that?
Things happen in life. It's not just boxing, in life. You got to adapt, you got to adjust, and you got to go forward no matter what. So I want to go forward, and hopefully he recovers and gets better soon.
Teddy Atlas weighed in with his thoughts on the matchup. He argued that despite the replacement, Bakole was by no means a lesser opponent than Dubois. In fact, Atlas believed Bakole posed just as much of a threat, if not more, due to his aggressive fighting style and formidable power. Normally, late replacements in boxing are viewed as an inferior substitute, but Atlas was adamant that this wasn't the case here. Bakole had already shown that he could contend with some of the top fighters in the heavyweight division, and Atlas credited Alalshik, the event organizer, for ensuring that the card remained high caliber despite the sudden change.
To Anderson, that you might say is even more dangerous. I mean, in some ways. So for that fight to be the replacement, that's all you need to know about, really. The commitment that Turkey Alalshik has to the sport, that the people like Spencer and Hearn and Frank Warren, that they're willing to put in a replacement like that.
According to Atlas, what truly made this fight intriguing was the fact that Parker himself had specifically requested the match, an uncommon move in professional boxing. This spoke volumes about Parker's self-confidence and desire to test himself against the best, especially when the odds were stacked against him.
So give me the next best guy. Well, this guy, you sure? I mean, you want it? Yeah, I want him. He asked for him. That's all you need to know.
Johnny Nelson took a slightly different perspective. He focused on Bakole's status as one of the most avoided fighters in the division. Over the years, many top names, including Anthony Joshua, had discussed the possibility of fighting Bakole, but those fights never materialized. Nelson believed that Bakole stepping in on short notice was a testament to his fearlessness and his willingness to take risks. For Nelson, the fight seemed to come together almost behind the scenes, with even Parker's team possibly being unaware of the changes until the last minute. He pointed out that if Bakole hadn't been available, it would have been a major missed opportunity, as few other top-tier heavyweights would have agreed to take the fight on such short notice.
And not one of those heavyweights has said he's lying. He's lying. He's not saying it. He's one of the most avoided heavyweights going. We saw the show match with him and Anthony Joshua at the Ring Magazine dinner, as they'll say it'll be a big fight in Africa. That fight ain't gonna. I saw Martin afterwards. He said AJ's not gonna fight me.
Frank Smith of Matchroom Boxing, who had been involved in the matchmaking process, also shared his thoughts on the surprise replacement. He acknowledged that the world of boxing always had a way of surprising people, and this situation was no different. Smith praised both Parker and Bakole for stepping up to make the fight happen. While some saw it as a risky move for Bakole, he commended the fighter for his willingness to take on such a challenge without hesitation.
Boxing never ceases to surprise anyone, does it? It's one of the maddest sports in the world, but that's why we all love it. What a fight, what a replacement. Happy for Joe Parker, because he's a great guy and he deserves, when you've trained that long, he deserves the opportunity. Fair play Martin Bakole for stepping up at late notice, but all credit really to Joseph Parker as well, because everyone talks about Martin Bakole as the bogeyman of the division. Well, look at that. He's going straight in there.
Bakole's promoter, Ben Shalom, added another layer to the story. Shalom described the chaotic negotiations that led to the fight being finalized, recalling how, at first, he doubted the news of Dubois' withdrawal, but quickly realized that the situation was very real. Within moments, Bakole's team confirmed their willingness to accept the fight, and the deal was quickly struck. Shalom emphasized that Bakole's team was incredibly swift in their decision-making, making this one of the fastest deals he had ever been involved in.
We're in, like we won this fight. If there's an opportunity, this is the only fight to make, this is it. Bit of back and forth. By then I've forgotten there's a press conference going on. I've come off the press conference, I've walked, done a few laps, I'm on the phone to His Excellency, we got a deal done very, very quickly. No messing around, Martins wants it, gets on a flight, ready to go. There's a lot of work now still to do, we've got the medicals and all sorts, but it's happening and we're going to get him here. It's unbelievable, and he deserves a huge amount of credit because there's no other heavyweight on planet Earth that would operate like this. 2 days notice against Joseph Parker, unbelievable.
Eddie Hearn also recognized the significance of the replacement fight. He noted that even if Parker versus Bakole had been initially scheduled, it would have been considered an exciting matchup in its own right. Hearn praised both fighters for stepping up to make the event a reality, and he applauded Alal Sheikh for pulling off the high-level replacement. In Hearn's view, the situation was a perfect example of boxing at its best, where real fighters rise to the occasion regardless of the circumstances. On the matter of the fight itself, Hearn acknowledged Bakole's impressive strength, but pointed out that the lack of a full training camp could play a pivotal role in the fight's outcome. While he believed Parker was the favorite due to his full preparation, Hearn recognized Bakole's early power as a serious threat, particularly in the opening rounds.
I mean, to be announced 48 hours before the fight, incredible. Big respect to both for accepting the fight. Shout out to His Excellency who made it happen. And brilliant fight.
Who do you think takes it?
Look, I think having seen Bakole and we're like in the last few days, and he's not always the fittest, and obviously he's not in camp. You'd have to favour Joseph Parker, but Bakole's very dangerous, especially early in the fight. And you know, he's one of those guys that might look terribly out of shape, but finds a way to actually have a good engine for 12 rounds.
Spencer Oliver took a broader view of the stakes involved. He reminded fans that this wasn't just a case of stepping in on short notice. There was a lot at play for both men. The winner of the fight would secure the WBO interim title and earn a shot at Dubois within 90 days, which would bring both a payday and a career-defining moment. Oliver stressed that last-minute opportunities were becoming more common in modern boxing, and fighters needed to stay ready at all times to capitalize on them. He also raised concerns about Bakole's fitness, noting that while Bakole's aggressive style made him a dangerous fighter, his lack of a proper training camp could affect his performance. Oliver surmised that if the fight had been scheduled months in advance, Bakole might have been the favorite, but under the circumstances, Parker held the advantage simply due to his preparation.
And the same for Martin Bakole. You know, he's got a call with less than 48 hours to go to go in against Joseph Parker for the WBO interim title, with the winner fighting Daniel Dubois within 90 days for that world title. So there's a double payday on the line, and it just goes to show you it's an opportunity for all young fighters. Keep yourselves ready. Not necessarily just young fighters, all fighters, because the opportunity is there now with what's going on out here in Saudi.
Barry Jones analyzed Parker's training camp and how it had to be adapted following the change in opponent. While much of Parker's camp had focused on preparing for Dubois, Jones believed that certain elements of that training would still be applicable against Bakole. However, the last-minute change meant that Parker had to make significant mental and strategic adjustments, which added an extra layer of difficulty to his preparation. Jones also addressed concerns about Bakole's conditioning, pointing out that while Bakole was scheduled to fight in May, he was not necessarily at his peak. For Jones, Bakole's physical state was a key factor in how dangerous the fight could be. If Bakole was in shape, he believed that this could be a more dangerous fight than the original matchup against Dubois.
And you have a dangerous opponent in front of you. It's not the same guy, so you have to, not just physically, but mentally and psychologically, reset yourself for this. And Martin Bakole, who, okay, he's been on holiday, and that's a bit of a worry, but he has a fight, lined up at the beginning of May, so a big fight, a big opportunity for him. So he would have been in training, but not really at his peak. So it's all worried what weight Martin comes in at and how fresh he is. Because if Martin's as good as he can be, this is arguably a more dangerous fight here.
More
for
dangerous,
Joseph Parker.
Adam Smith focused on the key factor that paved the way for Bakole to get the opportunity. He viewed the match as a highly valuable chance for Bakole, with the added bonus of it taking place on the prestigious Riyadh season card. While Smith acknowledged that Bakole wasn't fully fit, he praised him for stepping up to the challenge and taking on a fighter like Joseph Parker on such short notice. He also commended Parker for accepting the challenge, showing a willingness to fight one of the most dangerous opponents in the division. Smith's analysis of the fight itself focused on how the difference in preparation time could lead to a thrilling matchup. He also noted that a win for Bakole would elevate his career significantly, opening doors to more significant opportunities in the heavyweight division.
You'd have thought that, absolutely, and would that be Martin's game plan, just to sort of throw hell for leather for a few rounds? But I think he's a bit better than that, Martin Bakole. He takes his time a little bit to set up his attacks. So, you know, I think Joe's going to have a lot of difficulties, especially in those early rounds. You might be right about the ring fitness. Of course, if it goes 10, 11, 12, you've got to fancy Parker down the stretch, because he's used to that, he's experienced the 12-rounders, and he's fight fit. So for Bakole, does he go for it early? I think it will be calculated pressure from Martin Bakole.
Eddie Oladipo expressed disbelief at the substitution. He firmly believed that despite his skills, Martin Bakole was not the ideal opponent for Parker, drawing clear distinctions between Bakole and Dubois in terms of talent. Oladipo also mentioned that there were other fighters who could have filled in for Dubois, suggesting that Bakole was a level below in comparison. As the fight drew nearer, Oladipo criticized Parker's decision to face Bakole, questioning whether Parker was attempting to stay on the card by taking on a lesser challenger, ultimately lowering the quality of the matchup.
Before we get into how this all played out, that has to be the greatest last-minute replacement in recent memory, maybe ever. Honestly, maybe ever. Names that were being bandied about. I mean, there were some good names, don't get me wrong, like Lawrence Okole's name was brought up, David Adelaide's name was brought up, Dillian White's name was brought up, Joe Joyce's name was brought up. And look, for 2 days' notice, they're all solid names. All of them are solid names for 2 days. Martin Bakole, I didn't even bring his name up because I thought there's no way on this earth that Andy Lee and Joseph Parker are going to accept fighting Martin Bakole on 2 days' notice.
In a more balanced view, Oladipo acknowledged the risks for Bakole, knowing that stepping into such a high-profile fight could jeopardize the trajectory of his career. Nevertheless, he commended both Bakole and His Excellency Turki Alalshik for their boldness in making the fight happen, emphasizing the effort and commitment behind the decision. Oladipo also offered some tactical advice to Joseph Parker, offering his thoughts on how the former world champion could approach the unique challenge that Bakole presented.
I think that makes it even more exciting. I really do. If you're Joseph Parker, you use your legs, you run, you move, you don't engage. Don't even risk it. I actually think this is risky for Martin Bakole. Martin Bakole was on this trajectory, right? I mean, there's all this talk about him fighting AJ. He was on this trajectory. If he beat F.A. Jagba, what was promised next was a big one, whether it be the winner of Dubois Parker, the loser of Dubois Parker, the winner of Jean Cabial. You lose this one, and you get stopped.
Meanwhile, Matthew Macklin had his own concerns, focusing on whether Bakole would be in peak physical shape for the bout. Macklin recognized Bakole's strengths and potential, acknowledging that he could be a real threat to Parker in the ring. However, Macklin remained confident in Parker's conditioning, asserting that the New Zealander would be able to rise to the occasion and handle whatever Bakole brought to the fight.
Matt, I'll come to you first. Thoughts on the fight?
I mean, it's a great fight, depending on what shape Bakole's in. You know, he's a nightmare opponent. He throws loads of punches. He's really strong. You know what I mean? He'll be backing Parker up. But Parker's obviously in tip-top shape. He's preparing for the fight. We don't know what kind of shape Bakole's in.
So how did you react? Do let us know in the comment section. If you liked the video, then don't like and subscribe for more content like this.